What is going on YouTube? I've decided to make a buyer's guide video on the Gen 1 Coyote S197 cars. If you haven't already seen it, I've also made a buyer's guide on the 3-valve S197s as well. Naturally, I always try to make videos on cars that I own, so I can add my own personal experience within my ownership of said car. With that being said, I kinda want to shed some light on the 2010 Mustang, as I never went over it in my last buyer's guide. The 2010 model is kinda an oddball out. It shares the facelifted body style with the 11 to 12 cars, but shares the drivetrain with the 3-valve 05 to 09 cars. So basically, if you're looking for that modern looking S197 with an updated interior and don't really care about power and just want a nice V8 rumble, the 2010 is a cheaper alternative versus the 11 up cars. The 3-valve won't be winning any horsepower awards, but it is super solid and it's reliable. As a common sense reminder, with any used car purchase, no matter what it is, make sure that the car has been well maintained. Check the basics. Listen for any type of mechanical noises, check all fluids to make sure they're properly filled and that there is no cross-contamination between any fluid. So in 2011, the Mustang GT shares the newly redesigned body style as its 2010 predecessor, but now it's equipped with the all-new 5-liter dual overhead cam engine named the Coyote, and it has new transmission options as well, such as the 6R80 6-speed automatic transmission and the MT82 6-speed manual transmission. Now the Coyote itself has proven to be a super reliable platform, even in its early Gen 1 debut. Since this video is strictly about the S197 cars, we are only going to talk about the Gen 1 engine specifically. With the release of anything new, word of the wise always suggests never buying into the first of anything. Does that ring true with the 2011 Mustang GT? No, actually it doesn't. The only one-off issue that I can dig up on the 2011 specifically is some owners complaining about the e-pass shutter, which is basically Ford's electronic steering rack system. This seems to be a pretty rare occurrence with no rhyme or reason to what causes it, but the fix is to swap it out with a near ear rack or one from a Boss 302. I'm trying to go ahead and dissect the differences between each year of the Gen 1 now, so that way I can bundle up the rest of the video on the Gen 1 S197 as a whole. So the 2011 and 2012 cars and 2010 by association are facelifted versions of the 05 to 09 cars. They have also updated the interiors as well. These cars can be optioned up with premium features such as leather seats, mi-color features, and better stereos. You could also add the Brembo brake package to these cars, which replaced the factory front brakes with the Brembo 4 pistons off the Shelby GT500s. As far as mechanical differences go, the 5.0 engine in the 2011 to 2012 cars had piston oil squirters. A bad learning curve in tuning for the 5.0 gave the 11 to 12 Coyote engines a bad name, as many believed that the notorious cylinder 8 issue was due to the oil squirters themselves. That is not true, and the cylinder 8 failures are all due to inadequate tuning for the engine at the time. In 2013, the Mustang received another facelift. This body style is more refined, including new front and rear bumpers, paint match ground effects, HID headlights, and LED taillights. The front and rear bumpers have also been refined to give the car a more modernized look all around. The hoods now include heat extractors, and many believe Ford added these because the 13 to 14 Coyote engines no longer have oil squirters, so the vents were added to help combat additional heat. While this may be true, I can't find any confirmation for Ford's reasoning to add in them other than for looks. The pistons in the 13-14 cars have also been applied with a low friction coating. Other than that, and the removal of the oil squirters, the Gen 1 Coyote is relatively the same throughout all the years. The interiors remain largely the same, minus some dashboard differences and a new digital center screen in the dash itself for the 13-14 cars. One new option for the 13-14 cars was a trap pack option. This option was only for manual equipped cars and included a lot of goodies from the previous Boss 302 cars. These goodies included the Boss's larger radiator, an oil cooler, fin diff cover with 373 gears and carbon clutch packs, a baffled 8.5 quart capacity oil pan, and track app options in the digital screen. With all that said, we're going to go ahead and talk about things you need to look out for on any of these Coyote equipped cars, because now these issues will apply to every year of the Gen 1 cars. We'll start off with the dreaded Coyote tick. There's a lot of information out there trying to describe what the tick is and what causes it. Personally, I do not have any ticking from my engine at all other than fuel injectors, which is completely normal. Some believe the tick is just an exhaust leak, and in that case, it's nothing a set of long tube headers can't fix. Ford claims a light tick is normal and it's nothing to be concerned with. As I stated earlier, common sense can save you from a bad purchase. Listen to videos online of the tick, get a general idea of what it sounds like to help eliminate any other sounds. Me personally, I've just always known Ford mod motors to be noisy. Sometimes it could be lash adjuster tolerances, but I've owned 4.6s and 5.4s that have always had some type of tick with no ill effects on reliability. So use your better judgment and continue to be wary of cars with other serious mechanical sounds. The 5.0, when well maintained, has almost zero issues in stock or relatively stock form. That said, with mods and boost, the true weaknesses show their ugly heads. For any type of boost scenario or increase in redline over factory, the oil pump gears become a major weak link. It is highly recommended that they are replaced with billet units when undergoing any type of boost, increase in redline, and two-stepping, as all of those mentioned above put severe stress on the factory gears and crank sprocket. Replace those and the Gen 1 can be extremely reliable when boosted and beat on. One thing to note, if you are looking at buying a modified or boosted Coyote, make sure it is tuned for its mods by a reputable Coyote tuner. Tuners such as Lund Racing, Palm Beach Dyno, VMP, and Ortest Performance have plenty of Coyote experience to give owners reliable power. The biggest Achilles heel on Coyote cars are the manual transmissions. Even in stock form, the factory transmission has been known to lock drivers out in high RPM shifts. While the MT82 isn't Ford's best transmission, it can be improved on. The first and foremost mod on any manual transmission equipped 5.0 car should be the clutch. A really good twin disc clutch along with larger stainless steel clutch lines can really go a long way with shift quality and longevity of the MT82 transmission itself. My car is equipped with a McLeod RST clutch and the McLeod stainless steel clutch lines, and I've never had a single issue with my MT82. No lockouts, no grinds, or pop-outs, and in fact, I enjoy the way my MT82 shifts. My next mod, and it's also a mod I highly recommend, would be an Mgw Shifter. The stock shifter leaves a lot of slop with long throws that can definitely be improved on. When sitting in a manual car, shift through all the gears. Check for any unusual clunking or resistance when selecting gears. All gears, including reverse, should shift smoothly with no grinding or friction. On the flip side of things, the 6R80 automatic transmission is relatively trouble-free and can handle lots of power before needing any type of serious work. It is a solid transmission that is basically trouble and issue free when properly maintained. Now, with the important mechanical issues out of the way, we can start on the less major issues to look out for. From my research and time spent on forums, it seems that these cars are equipped with weak AC compressors. I have seen many instances of these cars with blown compressors and overall poor AC performance. I believe it's just a cheap batch of compressors Ford decided to source for the Coyote cars. So when looking at a car, check to make sure that the AC blows nice and cold, especially in the summertime. Now, from my own personal experience with the S197 platform, is to check for any front end slop and alignment issues. Higher mileage cars will probably need lower control arm bushings if they haven't already been replaced. If they haven't been replaced and clunk on bumps, the GT500 control arms are direct replacements and are much stronger. Now, as far as cosmetic stuff goes, the paint Ford used is pretty low quality. Check for clear coat fade, especially on the front and rear bumpers, as well as the roof. The clear coat is notorious for failing. Check for the hood corners and edges for defects. Most cars suffer from hood bubbling and paint chips. It's not something I would consider a deal breaker, as this will apply to most used S197 cars. The rear trunk deck lids are also notorious for clear coat peeling, scratching, and failure as well. Any type of drivetrain clunking can be blamed on the heavy two-piece drive shaft. A one-piece aluminum drive shaft would be a great investment. Braces are also available for the MT82 to help eliminate a lot of its clunkiness as well. MT82 cars are just naturally clunky, so hearing some noise while changing gears is normal, and it's generally nothing to be concerned with. As far as the interior goes, just check the door panels for any type of peeling, as they are notorious for this. The 13-14 cars really don't seem to be as affected, but it's still a possibility, so just check to be on the safe side. This can easily be fixed with coverlay inserts, or they can be re-glued. Cars in hot, humid environments seem to suffer from peeling more often. Overall, that's about it. These cars, when well maintained, can last forever. That can be said for just about any Ford mod motor. The S197 Mustang is the last of the solid rear ends and the last of the modern retro throwback body styles. Unfortunately, post-COVID prices have driven up pricing and the demand for GTs up astronomically, so I wanted to make this video to help others out with what to look out for when shelling out that big money for a used car. As always, thanks for watching.